refinements and improvements are focused on customer enthusiasm. This CPT video presentation and accompanying reference booklet are designed to help you, the technician, maintain that level of customer enthusiasm when it comes to servicing these convertible tops for water-related leaks. A systematic approach and properly performed procedures are required to successfully minimize convertible top water leaks. Skilled technicians and body engineers know it's no small undertaking when done properly, let alone without proper training. After completing this CPT, you will have a solid background. Specifically, we'll review the precautions that should be heeded during convertible service. We'll also examine established diagnostic procedures, adjustments, and service bulletins that have updated the previously established procedures. To begin, there are a few things to be aware of concerning proper convertible top operation and use. These items should also be communicated to the customer. Always dry the top if it's damp or wet before you lower it. Mildew, water stains, or damage may result if the top is lowered when wet. If the convertible is to go through a car wash, set the climate control system to vent and the fan speed to high. This will help prevent water from entering around the top by raising the pressure inside the car. Use a high-quality weather strip lubricant such as GM part number 363-4-770 weather strip lubricant to lubricate the weather strips at least twice a year. Silicone grease is an inexpensive alternative for weather strip maintenance. GM's dielectric silicone grease part number 123-45-579 or equivalent can be used. Be sure to check for items left in the convertible top storage area before lowering the top. Remove anything there, including the convertible center boot. Even small things can cause damage when the top is lowered. When the leak spot is not obvious, you'll need to test the top for leaks. Use a small stream of water about 1 inch vertical. Hold the hose so the water runs down over the areas to be tested. Never spray the water upward. Doing so will typically fill even a properly fitted convertible with water. There are 8 possible leak areas. Starting from bottom to the top, the first 2 are the forward lower corner and the upper corner of the mirror patch. Moving up the A-pillar, check at the header and upper forward corner of the glass at the ditch molding. Another area is at the mid-rail joint, followed by the door glass, quarter glass, upper and lower mating areas. Also check at the rear rail joint. The most common leak area for the J-car convertible is along the header seal. As you may know, it's one of the most difficult to diagnose properly. Most repairs at the header seal area will not require seal replacement. Once you've found water entering the car, unlatch the top and lower it about 2/3 the way down. If the water is not dripping in the driver's lap, it may be running down the garnish molding to the floor. Check inside the molding and the carpeting in the footwell area for evidence of water or moisture. There are 5 typical reasons for the header seal to leak. We'll look at each of them. Be sure to check the ditch area for missing sealer. This area is crucial for a proper header seal. In order for the header seal to seat properly to the top, it must be flat and sealed to the header. Start by cleaning with a non-petroleum-based general adhesive cleaner. If the ditch area is not flat, apply some butyl into the void. This should be followed by a larger piece of butyl to ensure successful adhesion of the seal. Refer to the appropriate GM service bulletin, number 73-1061, for more in-depth application information. If the header seal is not properly sealed to the header, water can get under it and enter the car. First, dry the area to be sealed with a clean cloth and install the garnish molding. Then apply black weather strip adhesive under the loose area of the seal. When you apply pressure to the seal, some adhesive should squeeze out. Another area of concern is the header welt area. If this area is not sealed adequately, apply black weather strip adhesive to seal this area. Top fabric at the header seal area should be smooth and free of wrinkles. You won't find a header seal ripped or torn very often, but if you do, just follow the replacement procedures in the service manual. Realize the header seal should never be replaced unless it is ripped or torn. When investigating top adjustment concerns, take the time for a close inspection. With the top up and latched, walk around the car and look at all the gaps. Side-to-side gap at the rear of the quarter glass is a giveaway for a top out of alignment. Make mental note of the entire scope of top alignment, glass, and door gaps before you do any adjusting. Check around the door, door glass, and quarter glass areas along the header and the front edge of the top. The top should be even and level with the header. As you can see, this top needs some adjustments. However, the important lesson here is to never jump on the first thing you see. Study the fit of the entire top before attempting any adjustment. A strategy is suggested to help ensure your adjustment doesn't turn into a comeback. After all, the body components affecting the top must be correctly aligned to perform their functions. First of all, check the operational integrity of the top before you start adjusting things. When the top is up, is it square to the vehicle? If not, service this first. Then make sure the doors are aligned and properly adjusted to the adjacent body panels. Next, adjust the door glass to fit the A-pillar and mirror patch areas. When the door glass is correct, adjust the quarter glass to fit the door glass and the top. And finally, when the previous items are good, make any fine adjustments to ensure water leaks are minimized. In this case, the top needs to be adjusted to the driver's side. The gap on the driver's side is noticeably wider than the gap on the passenger side. Both gaps should be essentially the same. Test for flex or up and down looseness at the mid-rail joint. The crown adjustment screw should protrude about 1 millimeter and seat against the nylon button on the front rail. There should be virtually no flex or movement at these joints. We will add a shim to the top stack to minimize the movement on this side. Use an offset 13 millimeter ratchet wrench on the top stack mounting nuts. You'll save yourself a lot of frustration, not to mention knuckles. It does make it easier. The top stack shims can be ordered through GM SPO as part number 123-63018. Be sure to get 3 or 4 of them just in case. There are not left and right shims. Just remember that this tab goes toward the center of the car. Leave the top up and climb into the rear seat. The top stack retaining nuts are located behind the rear seat, forward of the shock towers. Carefully loosen the 3 nuts on both sides. Do not remove them. They're tough to get back on, if you can find them. Remember, we had determined the left mid-rail joint crown screw was not seated against the front rail and needed to be shimmed tighter. Push up on the side rail and forward on the rear rail to determine how many shims to add. Remember, adding too many shims will close the gap at the quarter glass and top. With the tab toward the center of the car, add a shim to the left side. Be careful of wires in this area. It's easy to hook one with the shim. Give the top a firm push on the rear rail at the number 3 bow. If it won't stay to the side, get someone to apply firm, steady pressure while you tighten the nuts. Always tighten the nuts on the side you're pushing toward first. After tightening the nuts, check the gaps between the top and the quarter panel again. Check the gap around the quarter glass and at the mid-rail joint. Lower the top most of the way. Then raise it and latch it into place. Look at all the gaps again and determine if the top is properly located. If the top still isn't square or aligned properly to the car, adjust it until it is. Again, remember, no amount of glass adjustment will adequately compensate for an improperly aligned top. The car is originally built with 2 shims under the striker pins. This car has 3 under the passenger side. Under normal circumstances, these don't need to be adjusted for height. In this case, remove the shim that was added. Then latch the top a couple of times. Make sure it latches firmly, but not too tight. The latch should work cleanly without binding. Now that the top is in the proper place, other adjustments are appropriate. The first adjustment should be the door glass. Try to achieve an even fit around the glass with even, firm pressure on the seals. Remove the door interior trim panel for access to the glass adjustment screws. When it is necessary to operate the driver's window during repairs, the power window may lock in the express down mode, causing the window to lower fully without stopping, even though the switch has been released. Failure to exercise caution around the regulator assembly when operating the switch may result in personal injury and/or regulator damage. This would be a good time to check for service bulletins concerning door glass. Perform repairs as necessary according to applicable bulletins before starting glass adjustments. This certainly might save needing to make the adjustments twice. Adjusting the glass for proper seal compression is important. If the door glass is adjusted to over-compress the seal will take a set and eventually leak. In addition, a higher door closing effort will result. If the door glass is adjusted too loose to the seal, you won't be concerned about a future leak. The leak will be here and now. As a rule of thumb, if the glass is adjusted to just make contact to the seal at the first catch, it will be pretty close to the right seal compression. Adjustment for fore and aft movement of the door glass is often overlooked. Loosen the 10mm fastener inside the door. Access this fastener from the top of the door about 1/3 of the way back from the front edge of the glass. Adjust the glass as necessary for proper fit. Tighten the fastener snugly, but be careful while tightening. It will strip easily. Close the door. Check all the gaps and readjust as necessary. After adjusting the door glass, always make sure the glass is stable. Stability of the door glass depends on 2 stabilizers at the door belt line, one at the front and one at the rear. Adjust the front set screw until the stabilizer contacts the glass when in the full down position. With the door glass in the full up position, loosen the rear lock nut and adjust the rear stabilizer set screw until the stabilizer contacts the glass. Check glass operation to make sure it goes up and down freely without binding. Then tighten the lock nuts. Leave the trim panel off for now. Adjust the quarter glass to the top. Ideally, you want an even distance around the glass with an even pressure on the seals. To access the quarter glass adjustments, remove the rear seat and the quarter interior trim panel for access to the glass adjustment screws. Loosen the screws enough to disengage the front drive link from the rear drive link. They should be able to move freely against each other. Adjust the glass as necessary to make it fit the top evenly and parallel with the door glass edge. The rear of the door glass and front of the quarter glass should be even. In a perfect world, a 4mm gap on top and bottom would be possible. However, 4 to 6mm is acceptable. If you get much more than that, water leaks and wind noise can result. Using an available convertible top quarter glass adjustment tool, J42581, make the adjustments according to the service manual procedures. The glass can be adjusted in all directions. Just remember the gap around the glass at the top seal is the most critical. Make sure the roller cam with the glass full up is directly under or slightly behind the upstop. If the roller cam is in front of the upstop and cannot be properly positioned, replace the regulator. Go back and adjust the door glass again if necessary. Now that the door and quarter glass are adjusted properly, the top edge may not fit the top properly and needs adjustment at the mid-rail joint. To adjust the crown, or fore and aft arc of the top, lower it far enough to access the adjustment screw at the mid-rail joint. This torque screw can be adjusted in or out. To add crown, turn the screw in. Very small adjustments are made here. A little adjustment makes a big difference in the crown or arc of the top. Raise the top and latch it to the windshield header to check alignment. Repeat adjustment procedures as necessary to achieve parallel alignment of the rail and the top edge of the glass. Check header latch striker and receiver alignment. The striker should enter the receiver without binding or catching. Adjust as necessary. Cycle the top up and down several times, then latch it into place. Walk around the car and look it over, just as you did when you started. Check the gaps, clearances, and the seal contact areas. Carefully check the top edge of the door glass for window blowout. If the glass doesn't contact the seal as it should or sits on the rail, and the rail has proper crown, the glass may need more adjustment. The door glass should just contact the seal lip when the door is closed to the first catch. As always, check your work when you're finished by repeating the water test. After making sure you have corrected the water leaks, install the interior trim panels. It's always a good idea to check service bulletins for updates and procedures when servicing any vehicle. It's a recommended time saver for the Chevrolet Cavalier and Pontiac Sunfire Convertibles as well. In fact, several service bulletins are detailed in the reference booklet for this CPT video. These include one especially for the Z-bracket seal. This is bulletin number 831099. Another bulletin, number 831098, identifies drilling a hole at the quarter panel for drainage when a vehicle tends to be parked in a nose-down orientation. There's also a bulletin concerning side door glass. This is bulletin number 831096. Some previously available door glass can allow water leaks at the belt line. If you look at the lower rear corner and see the glass edge forward, chances are the incorrect door glass has been installed. Be sure to use only part numbers 123, 65, 676, and 7. Rail extension kit, part number 123, 66, 099, has been designed to minimize water coming over the rail into the car. Refer to corresponding service bulletin number 831094 for more information. This sleeve kit has been designed to minimize top damage at the number 4 bow area and is thoroughly covered in the matching service bulletin number 731060. If water enters near the mirror closeout, reduce the gap by loosening the nuts and adjusting the closeout tighter to the seal. See the same service bulletin for complete details. If the door doesn't drain properly, remove the interior trim panel and make sure the water deflector is in place. If there are holes in the door inner panel letting water inside the car, seal them with butyl. Be sure to refer to the bulletin number 731061 for a variety of door water leak concerns. The same bulletin suggests that you check the drains on the front of the dash under the front wheelhouse liners. If they're plugged, water will flood the plenum and run into the HVAC module. Make sure the drains have an opening of at least 10 millimeters wide, free from sealer, undercoating, or any other restriction. If the vehicle was manufactured before the 1998 model year, It may need to be upgraded with the new design door glass downstops, part number 123-68-118. Refer to Service Bulletin number 73-1069 for detailed information. GM improves and refines all its vehicles, including the Chevrolet Cavalier and Pontiac Sunfire Convertibles. The primary goal is to provide a more satisfying ownership experience for the consumer. It is up to highly trained and qualified service technicians to help maintain the highest levels of customer satisfaction. This can be done when experts like you fix them right the first time, on time, every time. To earn attendance and completion credit for this course, take the test found in the accompanying course book and phone in your answers.